Ever felt like you just can't get anything done no matter how hard you try? Like you're constantly dragging a lead weight behind you even when you're excited about a project? You're not alone. It's easy to label ourselves as lazy or unmotivated when we feel this way, but what if I told you there's a chance you're experiencing something much deeper? Today, we're diving into the difference between burnout and laziness. We'll explore the very real, very draining experience of burnout, and how to tell if it's happening to you. Because sometimes, the most productive thing you can do is acknowledge when you need a break. This isn't just about feeling tired, it's about understanding the impact of prolonged stress on your mind and body. So, grab your metaphorical thinking cap, maybe a cup of tea and a cozy blanket, and let's get into it. Okay, let's start with the big one: burnout. We hear it everywhere, but what does it actually mean? Burnout isn't just feeling a little tired after a long day, it's not even about being exhausted from pulling an all-nighter. Burnout is a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by excessive and prolonged stress. Imagine constantly pushing yourself to the limit, like running a marathon every single day with no finish line in sight. Eventually, your body and mind just can't keep up. You hit a wall, and that wall? That's burnout. It's like your internal battery's completely drained, and you're running on fumes. You might feel emotionally drained, like you have nothing left to give. You might feel cynical or detached from your work, hobbies, or even the people you care about. It's like the world's lost its color, and everything feels gray and overwhelming. But here's the thing about burnout: it's not a sign of weakness. It doesn't mean you're not good enough, or that you're not cut out for whatever you're doing. It simply means you've been running on empty for too long, and your body and mind are waving those big red flags, begging you to stop and refuel. So how do you know if you're experiencing burnout? Well, let's talk about some telltale signs. Burnout can manifest in a lot of different ways, and it can be sneaky. Sometimes it creeps up on you slowly, like a fog rolling in. Other times, it hits you like a ton of bricks. But regardless of how it shows up, there are some common symptoms to look out for. First and foremost, if you're feeling tired and drained most of the time, that's a major red flag. And I'm not talking about your average "I need another cup of coffee" kind of tired. I'm talking about a deep, bone-deep exhaustion that sleep just doesn't seem to fix. You might also notice changes in your mood and motivation. Feeling helpless, trapped, and defeated are all common experiences with burnout. It's like you're stuck in a rut, and you just don't have the energy or motivation to climb out. Remember that loss of motivation I mentioned earlier? Yeah, that's another big one. Things you used to be passionate about might start to feel meaningless or burdensome. You might find yourself withdrawing from social activities, neglecting hobbies, and just generally feeling less engaged with the world around you. Burnout can also manifest physically. You might experience headaches, stomach aches, or muscle tension. You might have trouble sleeping, or you might find yourself getting sick more often. Basically, your body is trying to tell you something is wrong, and it's important to listen. But here's where things can get a little tricky. Burnout can often masquerade as laziness. So, let's talk about the difference. Chapter 3. Burnout versus laziness. Untangling the two. Here's the thing: laziness and burnout often get confused, and it's easy to see why. Both involve a lack of motivation and a desire to do, well, nothing. But while they might look similar on the surface, they're fundamentally different. Think of it this way: laziness is the unwillingness to work or use energy. It's choosing to stay on the couch watching reruns instead of tackling that pile of laundry, even though you have the time and energy to do it. Burnout, on the other hand, is the inability to work or use energy. It's feeling so emotionally and physically drained that even the thought of getting off the couch feels overwhelming. Laziness is a choice. Burnout is a state of being. And it's important to make that distinction, because labeling yourself as lazy when you're actually burnt out can prevent you from getting the help and support you need. Here's another way to think about it. Imagine a phone battery. Laziness is like having a fully charged phone but choosing not to use it. Burnout is like having a completely dead phone that won't even turn on, no matter how many times you press the power button. So, if you're constantly feeling drained, unmotivated, and just plain exhausted, it's time to consider the possibility of burnout. But what causes this exhaustion in the first place? Let's dive into that. Chapter 4. The Roots of Exhaustion. What causes burnout? Burnout doesn't just happen overnight, it's usually the result of prolonged exposure to stress, often in the workplace, but it can also stem from other areas of life. One of the most common causes of burnout is an excessive workload. When you're constantly bombarded with tasks, deadlines, and expectations, it can feel like you're drowning in to-dos. This can lead to long hours, missed breaks, and a constant feeling of being overwhelmed. Another culprit is a lack of control. Feeling like you have no say in your work or your schedule can contribute to burnout. It's like being stuck on a hamster wheel, going through the motions but not feeling like you're actually getting anywhere. A lack of support can also play a significant role. When you don't feel like you have anyone to turn to for help or encouragement, it can make a stressful situation feel even more overwhelming. It's important to remember that burnout isn't always work-related. Caring for a loved one, dealing with chronic illness, or even experiencing significant life changes can all contribute to burnout. It's about the cumulative effect of stress over time, regardless of the source. Now I know what you're thinking, this all sounds pretty bleak, but don't worry, it's not all doom and gloom. There are things you can do to recover from burnout and prevent it from happening again. Let's talk about some strategies for reclaiming your energy and well-being. Chapter 5. Recharging your batteries. Tips for recovering from burnout. Okay, so you've recognized the signs of burnout. What now? The good news is that burnout is reversible. It takes time, effort, and a good dose of self-compassion, but you can regain your energy and zest for life. First and foremost, prioritize taking breaks. I know, easier said than done, especially when you're feeling overwhelmed. But even short breaks throughout the day can make a world of difference. Step away from your desk, go for a walk, listen to music, meditate, anything that helps you disconnect and recharge. Remember those hobbies you used to love? Yeah, it's time to dust them off. Engaging in activities you enjoy can help reignite that spark and remind you that there's more to life than just work or whatever's causing you stress. Speaking of stress, let's talk about managing it. This might involve things like exercise, yoga, meditation, or spending time in nature. Find what works for you and make it a regular part of your routine. And don't be afraid to seek support. Talk to a trusted friend, family member, therapist, or doctor. Sometimes just voicing your struggles can make them feel less overwhelming. Remember, recovering from burnout is a marathon, not a sprint. There will be good days and bad days, but the most important thing is to be kind to yourself and focus on making small, sustainable changes over time. So next time you feel unmotivated, consider whether you're actually just exhausted. Are you truly being lazy, or are you running on fumes? Recognizing the difference is the first step towards feeling better. Remember, taking care of yourself isn't selfish, it's essential. By prioritizing your well-being, you're not only helping yourself, but you're also enabling yourself to show up more fully for the people and things you care about. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. And be sure to share your own experiences with burnout and how you've coped in the comments below. Let's create a supportive community where we can navigate these challenges together.